Hey, what's up? This is Alex Zamora. I'm here at ODO Worship by ODO Church, and I wanted to show you guys a little bit of what our rig is for keyboards right now that we're using. So let's get to it. I'll show you guys what we have and what we're using. First of all, our system, the keyboard that we're using today is the Nord Stage 3 Hammer Action 88, which is an awesome keyboard. It sounds amazing, and there's my niece over there. And what we do is this. The first thing I want to explain to you guys is that we're using the sounds from the Nord, and we're using the sounds from our computer. Now, we have several programs running in our computer. One of those programs is MainStage. MainStage is a library of sounds that has a bunch of different sounds. I'll give you guys a little sample of it. This is for a song called Bendito. Bendito, Bendito. So I basically use the Nord to control the MainStage setup that I have here for songs that I have pre-prepared. You know, and it sounds pretty cool. I can. Sounds awesome. And the way that I control it is I'm using two things to control this guy. I'm using the Nord, which is some of the buttons that I have here are designated to MainStage, which it's a whole different thing. And I'm also using this little system called an icon control that I can designate. For example, this fader right here is my master volume. As you can see, it's moving. This one right here is my ambient pad. So for example, if I wanna, and I also have little buttons that are designated for notes for a song. So for example, Bendito's in D. So I'm gonna hit D, F sharp, and A, and you'll hear a nice ambient pad. And I can add piano to it. So it's running the piano from Nord, and it's running the system. Bendito, Bendito, el Cordero. Let's give it some intensity. 1, 2, 3, and we go up and boom. I can also control the volume from here if I want to stop it. And if I want to stop these guys, I have a little stop button that I did. Plus also, if I want to play around a little bit with strings, I can actually add some strings. And I have different little sounds here that I can toggle with. There's Bendito, there's my Zion pads, there's the string ensemble, which is my favorite one. And it sounds something like this. And I can control it from here. Now, the audio. How am I running the audio? I don't like to run the audio out of the headphone jack for that. That's why I have this USB, and I have this little tiny mixer called a Focusrite, okay? So the audio that goes out, basically I have about 4 outputs for sound. So the first 2 outputs are gonna be, before I explain the Focusrite, I'm gonna explain the one from the Nord. The one from the Nord comes out of these 2 channels that are channel out 1 and 2, and they go through a snake to our DI box right here. And this DI box goes to the sound system out there. Channels 3 and 4 come out of the Focusrite. And what it is that MainStage is running from the computer into the USB audio through the Scarlett, this is the Scarlett, the Focusrite Scarlett. And then out of 3 and 4, it runs into another 2 channels right there, which is labeled MainStage ODO. Or you can use Ableton as well if you're using that program as well. So that's what this guy's for. The Focusrite Scarlett is for that. And then, that's the way you control the audio for that. Now, why do I have this guy connected here? Because there's another program that I like to work with called Playback. Playback is a cool program because, for example, let's say that you don't have a drummer that day or a bass player is not there and you're on keyboards and you want to sound like a full band. Well, Playback is a system that helps you with 2 ways. Number 1, it gives you the background that you need to fill up the room with audio and with music that is not up there. You're like, where are those electric guitars coming from? It's from Playback. There are other programs as well, like DP. There's Ableton as well that you can use. This one's one of my favorite ones though. And I'll show you what I mean. And the other thing that it has is that it gives you a guide and a click. The guide and the click sounds something like this. I'm gonna give you a little example real quick. Now, the best way to use a guide and click is to use an InEars system so that all the musicians can listen inside their ears and they can have things that the crowd doesn't hear. We don't want the crowd to hear the metronome. You don't want to hear outside in the crowd and you don't want to hear a voice saying intro or chorus and all that. We don't want that out there. We want it on the in-ears. So this program is pretty cool because it helps me do that. And we can get more in detail if you guys want. For the moment, I'm also using a Allen & Heath ME1 system, that's how I'm able to hear myself. And as you can see, I have, click and I have guide, and I can basically figure out how to do that, and be able to mix it. And I'm gonna give you guys an example of what we hear in our in-ears. We hear it outside, but in our in-ears, we would hear something like this. This is what we hear in our in-ears.
1, 2, intro, 2, 3, 4.
And that's what we would hear. Now the crowd hears this. And if we wanna add, for example, we wanna add things to it. Let's say we wanna add background vocals. Let's see. You hear them? And let's say that day your drummer didn't come to church because he slept in or whatever. Let's make sure we let's put a drummer in here as well so you can see what I mean. So let's put the drummer. Here's the drums. See the drum line right there? Listen. And I can literally play from here. And then she'll tell me, second verse. And this is what I hear in the headphones. So it gives me the time. Okay, so what the crowd hears this. ¿Cómo terminará? Sing it. Sé cómo terminará. Voy a ver la victoria. I also have a different system that I like to use, which is called DP. And at home, I make some of the tracks that we use live from home. So I make my own tracks. These I got from multitrack.com, but I can make my own, which is kind of cool. And DP looks something like this. This is what the way the DP looks. I know main stage is in the back. I'll lower that. And I'll open the little session I have called ODO Playback Sun. That's from like March 3rd that we did. And then that's kind of what it looks like. That's okay. And as you can see, there's tracks. Now, whatever is the click and guide is completely panned to the left, and whatever is the track that we want people out is panned to the right. So this cable's got to be a stereo cable that goes out, and this guy, what it does, it goes from here and into my little tiny mixer that goes into a DI box, which and there's two channels. One channel has the click and guide, and the other one has the track. So, and in this guy, I'll explain this guy a little bit later, but as you can see, for example, I have some songs right here like Tu Nombre Es, one of the songs we use, and you guys can hear. Again, that's what the crowd hears. And that's what the crowd hears, but in our in-ears we hear this. But this is what the crowd hears. And we can basically give it more synth. And I can mix it up here. I can give it more power. Tu nombre es consejero, guerrero. So the people who listen to this stuff out there, eres sanidad y vida. Tu nombre es. We can play along. So this is one of the systems we use to play music again. Now, and it's a really cool system. I can get into more detail on how to use it and stuff. But I want to get more into the rig today more than anything, because this is my setup right here. What I love about this setup is that it has wheels. So it literally rolls in and out, super duper easy. The mic's already attached to this guy. This is just my talkback mic, so my musicians can hear me in the in-ears as well. And I have an extra laptop table and an extra water table just in case. But normally it's a little bit nicer than this. But what I love about this system is that it's all integrated and it's all runs through one snake that spreads out over here on this side. My talkback mic, everything's there. And what I like about the system here is that, the system itself, is very clean, and it literally just rolls out, including this whole part as well. Now, for the little Moukey that I use, this is my Moukey. The Moukey is basically a tiny mixer that we send all of the clicks, because there's 2 clicks running. There's a metronome that I normally put here through an iPad that I run, because I like to tap the metronome instead of having to drag around with the pad. I like to tap the metronome. That gets sent to a channel here that goes left. And then also the metronome from these, the metronome and the guide from these programs also go in here, and they get panned to the left. Now, anything that's tracks, music that you hear from DP, from Playback, from Ableton, that goes in here, and that gets panned to the right, and it goes out left and right into this DI box. And in this DI box, we connect one. So whenever you see music, whenever you guys see the music, the click and guide is on this one, and it's not going outside to the crowd, but we hear it in our ears. And then the track that people listen to is on this side. And I love this system, honestly. Sounds awesome. Yeah. So there's so much stuff that you can do, and you have control over it. And what's nice is that, for example, look, I can move the entire thing, and I can literally just put it away in about 10 minutes. I don't have to be plugging and unplugging from the back of the keyboards. I don't have to be rolling up cables and messing them up. Once the setup is pretty nicely set, there's really nothing that you need to worry about too much. So it's a really good system. It's wonderful. And what I love about it is that it's so easy to roll out. It's easy to move around, and it's fun to use. So I hope you like this video. I'm going to be putting a little bit more videos on our rigs as well. Next thing I think will be our drum rig, but it's time to go home. It's a camera. So I'll see you guys later, YouTube.